and welcome to Ask Adam with Rob, a guide to understanding the mortgage process. I'm your host, Rob King, from Keller Williams City Views in beautiful Fort Lee, New Jersey, and Adam Roberts, a mortgage banker at Atlantic Home Loans with 20 years experience working with clients and specializing working with agents. So first, Adam, thank you for working with me on this series.
Thank you so much, Rob. I was hoping you weren't going to say 20. You definitely dated me a little bit.
Well, I apologize for that, but I think showing the experience is very important.
Very much appreciated.
So today we're going to talk about the importance of buyers getting that pre-approval before they go out and look at homes to buy. So Adam, my first question for you is, I see a lot of newer agents really struggling with having that conversation with their buyers of getting that pre-approval before they go out and look at homes to buy. Why is it so important for buyers to get that pre-approval?
Well, Rob, it makes perfect sense that a new agent would be struggling with a difficult task.
Yeah.
It's one thing to sell somebody a house, it's another thing to kind of question them on the funds. But at the same time, this is your livelihood. This is what you do for a living, and it's important that you do it the best. And if you're going to do it the best, then you need to be able to explain to your clients that in order to represent them the way they want to be represented, you need to know what you have. So, for instance, Rob, if you went to a doctor's office and the doctor recommended X, Y, or Z, most likely you'd probably go with their recommendation, right?
Correct.
Or if you went into an attorney's office and you asked them to defend you, you wouldn't start clamming up when they ask you questions because you know those things are going to come up. And they need to know, what your strengths and weaknesses are. Mm-hmm. Right? It's the same thing with real estate. Unfortunately, it's really not a beauty contest. It's not a personality contest. It really comes down to price in many cases.
Yeah.
Prices and terms. When I say prices and terms, remember, because it's a blank piece of paper and you write a number on it and you put a down payment, that's all that's represented. Mm-hmm. So in a case where one deal is just higher than another, that not much needs to be said, right? But when you have deals that are similar or exactly the same, and you have 5 different realtors all saying that their client is going to offer the same number, how do you differentiate yourself? Well, the reality is if the client went out and got a proper pre-approval, by the end of that proper pre-approval, they should know what they can afford, what they can pay, how fast they can get the money, right? Does it make sense to walk into a store and without your wallet?
Exactly.
Right? So if you're shopping around for a house without your wallet, you're in a difficult situation. So
Correct.
By getting that pre-approval, you're giving the agent the ability to go ahead and represent you, right? So when it comes time for 5 different people all bidding on the same property with the same price, at least Rob, the agent, call up and say, hey, my client's been pre-approved. They can close in 3 weeks. They're putting 20% down. Their debt-to-income ratios they happen to share with me are 24, and they had been working consistently at the same company for 15 years. Well, if I'm not the agent on the other side, that's a lot better than just a blank piece of paper with no other information, right? But that's only can happen when the client is trusting of the agent, right? And so we can obviously talk more about that, but that's kind of the gist of it.
Yeah, I agree entirely with you. I mean, it does allow me to represent my clients a lot better when I do have that pre-approval. Adam, I always like working with you. I think you do a great job taking care of my clients. I'd like to ask you, why do you think it's important for a potential buyer to really take into consideration the recommendation of their mortgage banker that their agent gives them?
I would say that if you're using the right agent, let's start at the very beginning, right?
Yeah.
The process of finding an agent can be rigorous, right?
Yeah.
So finding the right agent after you've done your research, once you've gotten to the right agent, there should be a trust factor there. Okay? If there's not a trust factor, then you're probably in the wrong place to begin with.
Yeah,
right?
I agree with that.
So that would be the first thing. The second thing is your agent has probably done a lot more deals than the buyer has. Not only that, the agent sits around other agents all day. And as you know, like any office, people talk. Horror stories, nightmares, deals aren't closing, I can't get this guy on the phone. those stories add up, and what they lead to is disappointed buyers.
Yeah.
Okay? So when your real estate agent is recommending a mortgage person to you, you should probably look at it like they're trying to get your deal done, keep you satisfied in the best of ways, so that their business as an agent can shine in the future with referrals. If the deal goes smooth all the way around, everybody's happy. If the realtor can't get a hold of the mortgage person and the commitment date is already passed, it becomes an issue. So just the ability to get that person on the phone, the trust factor, the comfort level, the personal touch, I think it makes a huge difference. And it should be highly, and it doesn't mean they need to use them, but at the end of the day, at least the agent can feel like they tried to give them the best person that they possibly could give them, and the client made their own decision.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing I always like about you, is you always get back with my clients so quickly, you're willing to answer their questions, and really go through all the options that are out there for them. So the pre-approval process, what does it entail? What does it involve? What are you looking at?
Well, I would say it usually starts with a phone call.
Okay.
So, obviously, look, it's in this day and age, everybody wants to deal with email and phone calls. You could obviously meet in person, but assuming that we're talking on the phone, I would say initially it's a conversation, right? With me, I like to get to know my clients.
Yeah.
Before I even jump into their finances, I like to find out a little bit about them, where they're looking to go, where they live now, just a little bit background information. But once we get past that and build a little bit of a rapport, what's really involved is an analysis of their financial situation.
Yeah.
So what we're looking at is basically three things. And I sort of put them in this importance. Number one is your income.
Income, okay.
You can get a mortgage with not great credit.
Yeah.
You can get a mortgage with a small down payment. But if you don't make the money on paper, all the other factors don't matter. So the most important thing lenders are looking for, banks, anyone in finance, is do you have the ability to pay back the money on a monthly basis based upon the income that you make?
Okay. Are you looking at pay stubs or tax records?
So we'll be looking at pay stubs, we'll be looking at the last 2 years' tax returns.
Okay.
Okay, and it's always all pages. Anything in mortgages is all pages.
Yeah.
So it's not the first page of the tax return.
Yeah.
It's the last 2 years and the last 2 pay stubs.
Okay. So most important is income, and then you said there's 2 other things.
Right. I would say the second piece really would be credit.
Credit.
Right?
Okay.
And down payment. But the good news is for buyers, you can get a mortgage with a small down payment. You can get a mortgage with not so great credit. You can get a mortgage with having very little in the bank, maybe $15,000.
Okay.
But if you don't make the money, right?
Yeah.
So that, I would say, is the most vigorous part. So that's the part we really hone in on, is making sure that the income that the borrower is giving us, can be documented and the numbers add up and that person has the ability. And to make it very simple to understand as a technical rule, if someone makes $10,000 a month, lenders don't typically like to go over 45% on a conventional loan. Right?
Okay.
So that would mean that if their mortgage payment was $3,000 and they had a really fancy car for $1,000 and a credit card for $500 a month, they would be at their absolute max at a 45 debt to income ratio.
Okay, perfect. So once when you look at all, well, let's say I have a client, you call a client of mine, and he or she is very interested in moving forward. How long does the pre-approval process take?
It's a great question. It can be done very, very quickly. So what happens is, especially with most of the millennials, they truly enjoy online. So what most of them want is for me to send them like an application online. And basically what that allows them to do is it inputs their personal information. They upload their personal tax returns, their bank statements, all into the system. Once I receive that, I get an alert. And then from there, obviously there's a lot of intricacies on the back end, but I run credit. I have technical systems inside, and I ultimately run Fannie Mae software called DU, Desktop Underwriter. And that basically gives the loan decision. So, truthfully speaking, it could be as quick as an hour from start to finish.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So it almost sounds like it's going to take longer for the clients to actually get you the information than it is going to be.
Exactly. I pretty much always say I work as fast as you do, and that's everybody in our business.
Perfect. Well, thank you again for coming in, having this conversation. If anybody has any further questions, feel very comfortable reaching out to Adam or myself, and we'd be very happy to answer those questions. You can also leave comments in the box below, and we'll make sure that we answer those as well. And from Rob and Adam at Ask Adam at Rob, as always, happy investing. Hi everyone, it's Rob again. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. And as always, happy investing.